Hello world watchers and welcome back to Kelly's Kitchen. See, I got a new word for you, world watchers.
World watchers, I love it.
So today we are doing something different. John's not completely sold on the idea, but I'm sure you'll love it. I'm going to do a lasagna, but it's a lasagna with a difference. It is not your traditional minced beef lasagna, it is a chicken lasagna. And it is white, so there is no tomato in it at all, which is absolutely fantastic if you have problems with digesting tomatoes because they are a bit acidic. Now, with a lasagna, I always think lasagnas, homemade lasagnas, are like a labour of love because, let's be fair, they're not simple to put together. I mean, it's not difficult, but there's just lots of steps, and I think you have to be committed to make a lasagna. Yeah? Do you get me?
I was committed once not to make a lasagna though.
No.
Committed.
Let's not go with that one.
Could you quickly move the daffodil, please? I know it's spring, or you feel very spring-like.
I love my daffodils.
And Cornish daffodils are out right now, and they're absolutely stunning. Spring does come early in Cornwall.
There you go.
But they were in the way of what you're trying to do.
Right.
There you go. Carry on.
Are they okay now?
That's fine.
Right, so there's 3, maybe 4 steps to this in this recipe. The first is the chicken. So we're going to poach the chicken. You can use breasts or you can use thighs. If you use thighs, they're saying that you should use thigh fillets again. But I actually priced up this week, and for a kilo of thighs with skin and the bone in, it was £2.66. For 600 grams of thigh fillets, i.e. without the skin and without the bone, it was £5.70 something. That is a big difference to take a piece of skin and a bone out. So I've skinned and boned it myself. If you're one of these people that likes to make your own stock, the bones that you take out of a chicken thigh are absolutely perfect because no matter how close you get to the bone, there are still meaty bits on it. So if you like to make your own stock, put the bones in a bag into the freezer or whatever until you've got enough, and then you can make your own stock. So the first step of this lasagna is to cook the chicken, and we're going to make kind of a homemade but not homemade stock to use later in the recipe. Okay, so first off you need to get yourself a big pan and you need to get sort of a medium heat going, and into that pan you are going to add 500 ml of stock. I'm using chicken obviously because we're cooking chicken. You can use whatever stock you like. So in that goes. Then into that you're going to add a litre of milk. Now it doesn't really matter what strength milk you use. You can use skimmed, this is semi, you can use semi-skimmed, or you can use blue top if you like, but you need a litre. So that goes in with the stock. Like that. And then into that you're going to add 2 teaspoons of vegetable bouillon sort of powder. You need like the powder stock if you like. So 2 teaspoons of this go in. Like that. Give it a whiz round so you break up the stock powder.
So you're using partly stock powder, cubes, etc., but also some fresh bits as well. So it's, like it says, half and half homemade.
Yeah, that's why it's sort of, you're going to save this poaching liquid for later on. So whatever you put in here is going to be your taste thing for later. So we want to amp up the taste, okay? What you do not want to do with this is boil it. If you boil it, your milk will split and you really don't want that. So you need to bring it to sort of a good simmer, but below a boil. We're going to add in our chicken. So this is a kilo of chicken thighs that I have skinned and boned myself. Hence the little bits where I've saved bits. Chuck them in. So you need to bring this, like I said, to sort of a good simmer. And once you get there, you're going to add 2 bay leaves. I'm just going to put them in, it'll get there eventually. 3 sprigs of thyme. These are only little sprigs because they're out in my garden, but it's just starting to take off again, so that's good. I need to get rid of that bit. Bit of thyme, like that, and it says half a teaspoon of pepper. So I'm just going to put a good grind in.
I assume you don't put salt because there's...
No, because of the stock. Now, when that comes to a good simmer, I'm going to turn it down, put the lid on and leave it for 15 minutes. After the 15 minutes, I will take the chicken out of the liquid, but save the liquid. So I'll put the lid back on and save the liquid. And then we go on to section number 2. So we'll be back in about 15 minutes when I've managed to simmer my chicken.
Okay.
See you in a bit. Okay, so my chicken's had 15 minutes and it's simmering nicely. So the next thing to do is to take it out of the poaching liquid. I'd suggest you leave it to cool, but you're going to need to shred it to go into your lasagna. Put your poaching liquid to one side for later, like that. Put your chicken to one side to cool until it's cool enough to handle so that you can shred it. And the next thing you're going to do is your mushrooms. Now, okay, so the next stage is to fry your mushrooms. We're going to fry them in a mixture of oil and butter with some garlic. But you don't need to overcrowd the pan or they will steam, basically. So you're going to have to do them in sections. So the recipe recommends halves. I still think that for my pan, half is probably quite a lot, so I'll do it in several sections. So in your pan, if you're doing halves, you've got a tablespoon of olive oil, a tablespoon of butter and 1 clove of garlic, and you're going to repeat that in subsequent batches until all your mushrooms are nice and golden brown and fried. Okay, so next step is the white sauce that you're going to make. So you need to put your pan on a medium heat. You need to melt 50 grams of butter, and add to the butter 2 cloves of garlic.
So you've already got garlic in the mushrooms, now you've got garlic in the sauce.
Yes,
yeah?
It's going to be garlicky. There we go. So you're going to cook this until your garlic sort of starts cooking, but as I always say, please be careful when you're cooking garlic, because 1 minute too much or even 30 seconds too much, if you burn it, it will be bitter and it will ruin everything. So just treat garlic gently. I have to be even more gentle because my garlic is completely minced because it's in a paste, so it's much finer again. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do is add my flour. This is just plain flour because what we're doing is making a roux. So in goes the flour. Give it a good stir. And you're going to want to cook this for a minute or two. It goes sort of like lumpy and powdery, but if you don't cook it a little bit, then it'll be really like a floury taste, so you need to try and cook it at just a little bit, like that. Okay, next stage, you're going to take 500 millilitres of your reserved cooking fluid, the stuff that you poached your chicken in. You want 500 mils, and you're going to add it gradually, stirring to make your sauce. It's going to take a while to get this in because we've got quite a lot of liquid to get in. But don't do it too fast, because if you add too much liquid too quickly, you'll end up with a lumpy sauce. So each bit you add in, give the roux a good stir around. Bit more. Now this first lot that you're going to put in is not going to look like a sauce, it's going to look like a thick paste. But that's what you want to start off with, and then we'll add the rest of our cooking liquid, and that will make us our nice smooth sauce. So be a bit patient with it. And this is helping cook out that floury taste as well, because we're doing it a little bit at a time. Now if it's starting to get a bit liquidy like mine is, I'm going to swap to a whisk, just because I find it easier. You can see there's still some lumps in it, but it is coming together. Okay, so that's the first lot of liquid in. Now we're going to gradually add the rest of our poaching liquid. So don't do too much at a time, as I said, take it steady. And give it a good beat in the middle, in between it all, because what you want is a nice, smooth, silky sauce. So John did all the hard work for me and whisked that in. I'm just going to keep moving it around now. It's nice and smooth. We're going to bring it up to a boil so that it thickens, and we'll be back when it does. Okay, so once your sauce has thickened, you need to, I brought mine to the boil, so bring it to the boil. Once it's thickened, you need to take it off of the heat. John, could you remove the thingy for me, my love?
This bit?
Yeah, just move it to the back or even over that side, whatever.
Okay.
Take it off of the heat, and then you're going to stir in your 200 grams of cheese. We've used a medium cheddar, but you can use whatever you like. Obviously you need something with a bit of flavour, otherwise.
What's the point?
Yeah. Stir in your cheese until it's all melty. This is obviously going to thicken up your sauce a little bit more.
Yeah, it's not a massively thick sauce. We were looking on their recipe and they're saying it should be thicker, but we can't see that's going to happen. So.
Well, I just don't think as well, because you're using lasagna, obviously, you're going to need something to soak into your lasagna.
Yeah, if it's too thick, it'll never work.
You'll just end up with like hard lasagna, which is not good.
Again, it's the sort of thing you have to do. When you find a recipe you've never done before, you can follow it as much as you like, but sometimes you just have to wing it a little bit.
I think that is the perfect consistency of like a bechamel sauce.
Yeah, I think so too.
I'm going to try a tiny bit just to check for seasoning. So, whoops. That's fine. Definitely doesn't need any salt. Maybe a little bit of pepper.
Yeah, and remember, your mushrooms are already seasoned, and
Yeah.
your chicken is beautifully seasoned because it was poached in stock.
Right, so the next thing you need to do is you need to take out of that pot about 600 millilitres. And that is going to be for the top of your lasagna. Perfect. Okay. So So we'll set that one to one side. And then into this lasagna sauce, you're going to need to add your chicken and your mushrooms, the whole lot.
So you previously shredded all the chicken?
Yeah, I shredded the chicken. And I fried my mushrooms in garlic butter. So all the garlicky butter can go in there as well, like that. And now you need to give that a good old stir around.
Love, you missed the mushroom nut. Oh, I got it.
Cook's perks. You did my mixing for me. I'll let you have that one. There. There we go. So that is basically the majority of your recipe. What I'm going to do is just set that aside a minute, clear up, and then we'll get to the assembly. So I'll be back in 2 minutes. Finally, final stage. That's what I said about lasagnas being a love affair thing. You have to love it or love who you're making it for anyway. So there's quite a lot of mixture, so I'm going to put it in a big old Pyrex dish. First thing you do is you take a bit of the sauce with the bits in it and smear it around your dish. You don't need too much at this point, just to make sure that there's like a bit of a covering. And then you go in with your lasagna sheets. Now these are, like everybody, dry, but you don't need to pre-cook them, so just put them in. 1, 2, 3. Like that. And then you put half now of your chickeny mushroomy sauce, like that. Make sure you get into all the corners. You need to make sure your lasagna sheets are covered. There we go. Perfect. Another layer of lasagna. Like that. Then the rest of your chickeny mixture. Don't waste any. Took you long enough to make it, you may as well enjoy it.
Our dish may be slightly deep, but we're making sure that you can see, so we put it in a clear dish.
There we go, spread it all out into the corners again. Make sure your lasagna is covered. Like that. Final layer of pasta sheets. Sorry, John.
Right, get out of the way of the camera for you.
There we go, another 3 sheets of lasagna in there. And then you're going to pour on top your reserved sauce. So it might be quite a lot of it.
That's kind of good, because even if you did miss bits in the inside, that'll probably
it will
catch
sink
it up
in.
time,
Yeah, it's going to sink down. Oh, it smells divine, I have to say. So in it goes. Make sure you get the sauce into the corner so all your pasta sheets are covered. And then finally, you take your mozzarella cheese.
Just got some grated from a bag.
Yeah, I mean, you can use grated, you can use like slices, or you can use a mixture of both. I personally find I like the way this grated stuff goes brown, like it browns and it goes stringy, you know. But the choice is yours. Put your plenty of mozzarella on. And that, my friends, is that. So it needs to go into an oven at 180 fan, which is 200 if you haven't got a fan, and it's probably about gas mark 7.
I wouldn't know off the top of my head, it's close. I will put it.
I'm getting quite good at gas. I think it's gas mark 7.
We don't have gas in this town.
No, we don't.
Gas, so
we
it's
don't.
difficult for us.
So in the oven that goes. I'm just going to check the length of time.
I thought you were ringing up a friend then. Phone a friend.
Yeah, phone a friend. Yep, in it goes for about 40 minutes. Okay, so obviously keep an eye on it. If you make a smaller one, or I mean, you could make 2 small ones if you're, or even 4 small ones if you're on your own. This would, you know, freeze really well. But this is a white chicken lasagna, and I hope you're all going to enjoy it. I'm really looking forward to trying it. I have a bit of an issue with mince. It's not that I don't like tomatoey sauces, I'm not keen on mince. So I'm hoping that this is going to be a family favourite as an alternative. So, hope you really liked it. We will show a picture at the end when I cut a piece out later this evening. In the meantime, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. Please hit your notification bell so that you know that we're around. And come and join us on Big OGGIE World. We have got a public group over on Facebook. Maybe I shouldn't say Facebook, on YouTube.
No, you can.
But we have got one over there called Big OGGIE World, where we do lots of chats and people show us the things that they're making, which we really, really love. And also we keep an eye on it closely, so if there's anything that you want us to try and make, let us know and we'll see what we can do. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed this, and we will see you all again really soon. Bye for now.